It takes like 10 touches to make one sale. And I think
Is that going up though? Like, I feel like it's getting worse. Attention spans are getting worse, so you need more sales touches now. It used to be like 7,
right?
And now you say 10, but it might be like 25.
Right.
Welcome back to Torch Talk, the show where we spotlight bold leaders growing their businesses and communities with grit and purpose. Today's guest is Rob Robincheck of Cutco. In this Torch Talk episode, we'll explore his experience representing a well-known American brand and take a deeper dive into what it takes to build lasting customer relationships through quality products and personalized service. Welcome to Torch Talk, Rob.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, where you come from, like all the things, Rob.
So in the business, I've been with Cutco for 29 years now. I started in 1997 as a first job out of high school, going into college that fall. That's how I started my career.
Did you say 29 years?
With Cutco, yes.
We were just talking about this. I don't know how that's possible, but like that seems really crazy. 29 years with one company. When you started, did you ever think it would last this long?
Absolutely not. No. When I first started, when I went through the interview, I was like selling knives. Like, I don't know about this. And then I was like, oh, there's some scholarship opportunities. I'm a very competitive person. So there was a lot of competitive things going on and winning trips and stuff. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. When I first started, I ran into a few people that owned it for many years, and they're like, these are great. And I'm like, no, they're just knives. Like, like, you sure? And they're like, yeah, I've had them for 20, 30 years. I'm like, okay. So I just ran into more people that owned them, loved them, and then the product conviction went through the roof. And then just kept on staying consistent throughout school. And even switched my career. I was going to be an occupational therapist. I switched it to being a business major just because I fell in love with being an entrepreneur and business. And I played a lot of sports in high school. So football, basketball, ran track. So being competitive was always in my nature, and the business seemed to flow very well with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you did finish college, because that was going to be my question. Did you finish, or were you so successful that you decided not to finish college?
Yes, I did graduate with a bachelor's in business management. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was at times very challenging to go to school when I wanted to go out and sell and make more money, and start to win more scholarships. So the scholarships were great because it helped pay for some of the school, which is really great. And I ended up being the #1 scholarship winner in the fall of 2002. So what was great about that is I was able to give money back to the school for being #1, which meant a lot to me.
Okay. Wow. So talk to us about the kind of evolution of Cutco. So it's probably changed a lot over the time that you've been with them. So talk to us about like maybe what stayed the same from a product perspective and what has changed.
Right. I would say what stayed the same is the quality of the product. They've added on a lot of products over the last 29 years, but the staple has been a quality American-made product, sharpest knives in the world, guaranteed forever. None of that's changed. Some of the colors, we've added some new colors. We actually have a pink for breast cancer awareness, so I know you like pink. We're doing this summer purple for Alzheimer's, so we have a lot of community causes, which that has grown. But the products themselves, just adding more knives to the outside of colors, that's changed. But the perspective on the business has changed from being a college job, college students just selling the product, to people like myself making it a career and becoming a career sales professional.
Mm-hmm. What do you want everybody to know about Cutco?
From the brand itself, just that the company has a superior service to it, which is great. Some of the representatives like myself taking it next level and provide a concierge service. So to let everybody know that, you're getting not only a quality American-made product, but you're getting something that you'll never have to sharpen, service, replace it ever. We're always going to be there to take care of it. And it's an heirloom piece. So the nice thing is, because it's not lifetime, it's forever. People do will it down from generation to generation. And also, we're the #1 gifting company. So to keep in mind, from a gifting perspective, that people love giving it not only for the traditional things like weddings and anniversaries and birthdays and Christmas, but also businesses love giving it to their employees and customers, a high-end appreciation gift. And it also gets their name out in a very high-end way for a marketing advertising perspective.
So you're one of the top producers, right, with Cutco nationally? Is that correct?
The last 5 years, I've been number one in the world of Cutco.
What?
Yeah.
In the world?
In the world. Usually there's 20 to 25,000 reps that sell. Some, again, are just very part-time, do it throughout school, summer, maybe throughout the school season. But there are now more and more people like myself that sell it full-time.
What's the key to that success?
I would say it's a three-part process. One is hard work. Hard work works, and definitely one of the hardest workers, but also in addition, be very strategic and one of the smartest, and I'll touch on that. But yeah, it's not uncommon for me to do a 6 a.m. meeting. A lot of my counterparts are like, people actually meet with you at 6 a.m. And I'm like, yeah, in this area, they're up for 2 hours already. That's late for them, for some of my customers.
Or you got to get them before they're locked down for the whole entire day.
Exactly. Not a lot of bad things have happened at that point compared to the end of the day. As a business owner, as you know, a lot of things could have happened within that whole day period, right? So I'd say that was part of it. And consistent efforts. I think anything you do, when you're consistently doing it, it's easier to get up. It's easier to do what you're passionate about, what you're excited about. So I would say that would be a big part. The other part of my success is that I do pride myself on taking care of my customers and servicing them, from not only to sharpening knives, replacing them. Just this morning, I stopped in one of my construction companies, 6 a.m., dropped off a pair of shears that, he needed to get replaced. Set up the meeting for my next meeting with him this summer, which I call my ABR, Annual Business Review. So I have monthly meetings every single year on top of touch points throughout the year. And the last point has helped me be number one in the world is I've been able to scale the biggest, fastest area within the company, which is our business gifting layer. So some representatives do great with their own customers, some great marketing those, some do great at events, some do great in our realtor program. We have a federal program, so we have a lot of different programs to sell Cutco. But I've been able to nurture and build relationships with my customers. And I think relationships are the key because they take you places that marketing can't even take you when you have strong relationships. And I've been able to maintain and build relationships with my clients. And I've really built that over the last 10 years. Yeah.
So relationships are the key to kind of your sales success or your sales process, but what's your method for building that relationship? And I mean, you make it sound easy, but I know it's not easy.
Right.
Like the sales and that following up and hearing no and still not getting your feelings hurt. So kind of talk us through, I think that there's a key somewhere in there that really makes you different.
Yeah, I think the key is that most sales reps, it's kind of a hit and run industry in general across all industries, is that they are telling you whatever you want to say and then selling you, and you never hear from them. Where I do the exact opposite, where I actually have more of a consultative approach, work with my clients to build strategies that are best for them, try to listen to them, but have a consistent touch points throughout the year. So when they get their order, January check-in calls, see how everything went with their orders and who they gave it to, and just make sure they're on the right strategy, the right programs. So I would say that it's a consistent nature of it. I also look to add value to their business any way I can. So they don't see me as an order taker. They see me as an extension of their team, if you will, that they never feel like I'm just calling to get another order, which most reps that's why they would call year after year. And I've touched base with them throughout the year. And anytime I can invite them to an event that makes sense, or there's a gift that might make sense for them or their spouse. And that's another thing too, is I love to love on their spouse as well, because usually those are the people that are forgotten about or not considered when, the relationship's built. And I think the family is the most important thing. And when you take care of the family, everything else takes care of itself. And that's something I've been able to develop. It's been over time, because business owners will test you. Also, they're used to the way that they've been treated. And so I just try to do a little bit differently than any other sales rep does to let them see that, the relationship's going to be different than what they've experienced.
Absolutely. And that's super vital in the area that we're in geographically.
Trust is very important.
How long, like what kind of geographic area do you cover? Are you like all over the state of Ohio? Are you really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a area that I have to work in, but I do most of my focus is in initially was in Northeast Ohio in the Cleveland, Akron, Canton, Youngstown area when I started doing events. Over the last 10 years, it's been more Holmes and Wayne County and servicing and taking care of this community. It started, with a few business relationships, and then they wanted me to connect with other business relationships, and then getting a few people that I've partnered and championed with to develop more connections within the community. But yeah, now the goal is that not that I would work with everybody, but everybody would know what I do and how I can support and take care of them.
I know. I think I was introduced to you when I visited the Great Big Home and Garden Show in Cleveland a long time ago, which I'm not even sure. Well, the show's not even. I think this was the last.
This
year
is last year here.
That they're doing it. What was the way that you actually were able to make connections to get into this community?
I think initially it was a couple local events that I did at the Mount Hope Event Center, and made a few connections with a few business owners that way, and then just continued my model of high-end service and multiple touch points, that they saw that there was a difference of what I was doing compared to maybe others, and they were open and willing to, hey, you should talk to my brother or a friend or someone in the same industry. And then I started doing some networking. Now recently too, I've been trying to do more stuff with the chamber, but I think a little bit of everything works, and not to spread yourself too thin, but also to work with a lot of different channels that can connect you with different people in different industries.
How do you not get discouraged if you're sending texts and reach outs, but nobody's responding to you, or you're asking and you're getting no's, or ghosted is like my favorite thing now. Like everybody just ghosts everybody because
Right.
it's acceptable. I don't know.
Join the witness protection.
How do you stay positive
program,
and
yeah.
continue with your progress without getting discouraged?
I think it's I've never taken it personal, and I'm pretty thick-skinned. So, I think it's human nature that you get frustrated or upset if you hear a no or something doesn't work out. But since I don't take it personal, I'm able to move on very quickly. Just this morning, I had one of my biggest accounts like, after the end of the conversation, I don't know if it's going to be a fit this year. And I'm like, no problem, and still love on them and thank them for the, the time and the partnership and the relationship we have. And it's not maybe it might be no now, but not no forever. And that next year might be a better fit for whatever the theme is or whatever, the program that we're putting in place. And I've had that happen a lot where it's a lot of them are like, no, not this year or not this timing. But then when the timing's right, I know that there's an opportunity there, and I'm just ready when they're ready. I say my timing's your timing, and I let them know, hey, why this time might be better. But if it's not good for them, just to be able to support them and know that, hey, there might be a better time down the road. And so keeping contact with clients for the next 5-10 years, I play the long game. So I always think of it in a long-term type of approach. And I think that way it keeps me from knowing that, hey, even though it's a no now, or they're not responding to me, that, they're just busy people like us. And so by not taking it personally, a lot of times I find out, well, maybe they had some family things going on or outside factors. But I think the stronger relationships I have, they might not respond maybe immediately, but typically most of my strong relationships, they'll respond at some point and let me know what's going on in their world. And I can relate with them and then, let them know, hey, we can touch base next month or maybe even next year.
Yeah. I know people just really value that like no pressure approach. And if you genuinely, your true intention is that you care about them,
right.
Sure, you want to sail, but like people can for sure feel from you your authenticity and the genuineness that you have about that. And I think that probably makes a really big difference, because even if I ghost you, like you said, it might be because I'm just really busy. I've never thought I would be the one that doesn't respond to text, but that's the state of business that,
Right.
life just happens, and sometimes you're not able to get to everything. But you could be planting seeds that you don't realize what you're planting. And I do
Right.
see people a lot just get discouraged or kind of stop the follow through, and they probably stop too soon, because if you just stayed consistent, if
Right.
you genuinely care about the person and you stay consistent in the long run, something's going to happen. Even if it's not with them, maybe they'll refer you to somebody else.
Right.
So
I think staying pleasantly persistent, obviously,
pleasantly persistent. That's a
Pleasantly.
great term.
Yes, I love using that. And again, I think one of the greatest compliments was for one of my clients I worked with, said, hey, not this year. And then followed up next year and we got a deal. And he said, hey, one thing I really appreciate about you is that you're not in it for the quick buck. You're in it for the long term. And they even saw that. And that was already my thought process, playing the long game. And again, business owners really appreciate and respect that. And I've just tried to come from a perspective of like, they know when you're being genuine, they know when you're being pushy and rude. And, at times I'm going to be staying on top of things, but I'm also going to give them the space and time that they need. And, again, when the timing's right, they'll certainly let me know, but it takes like 10 touches to make one sale. And I think
Is that going up though? Like, I feel like it's getting worse.
It
Attention
might be
spans
higher.
are getting worse, so you need more sales touches now. It used to be like 7,
Right.
and now you say 10, but it might be
It
like
could be even more.
25.
Right, exactly. But again, trying different, and everybody communicates differently. I think that's important too. So if you're sending text and someone doesn't do text messaging, but I think a lost art is just picking up the phone and making a phone call. I think we get too caught up in emails and texts and social media and all the things. Those are great. But I think just picking up a phone call, and sometimes people are like, wow, you actually called me. Like, no one does that anymore.
Yeah.
Or you actually sent me a thank you card. And then that's another thing with gifting too, is like when you do it, be authentic about it. Don't look for something in return. Just do it because you really want to do something really nice and genuine for someone. And I always know that it comes back to you when you're doing it for the right reason. And it'll be not your timing, it'll be their timing. But yeah.
So talk us through, we have a lot of businesses who listen to the podcast. Talk us through what your top favorite business gifts are, either for employees or for customers.
Yeah. So, the Cutco product has been really great from a gifting perspective in general, because every single one of my customers eats and everybody cooks. So they all need good tools, right? Just like someone would have it out in their shop or their garage or something like that. Or they play golf, they have good clubs. So whatever your thing is, having a good tool just makes a lot of sense. I think from a gifting perspective, we have a lot of products that resonate even more than others. Again, our shears are absolutely incredible. I demonstrate, and after 29 years, I've cut 17,000 pennies with the same scissors, never been sharpened, and still cutting. And people are like, wow, that's incredible. They're
You
definitely
just
dollar,
demonstrated that with me like a week ago, and
Right.
I didn't believe you. So
they are amazing. So that's like universal. And then, we have other products. Some of our like utility knives or some chopping knives. I mean, every good kitchen needs a good, chopping chef knife. And, outside
or
of
my
that,
personal favorite, the cheese knife.
cheese knife's amazing.
I use it on everything,
Right.
not just cheese. So if anybody's looking for a recommendation, it's the one I can't live without. So.
Sticky, starchy stuff like potatoes, apples, onions, sweet potatoes. Cheese is just the bonus.
Peppers,
Yeah, peppers.
everything. I mean,
Yeah.
literally everything.
Right.
There's not a thing I'm not cutting with that. So.
Yeah, it's a great piece. And not that one piece can do it all, but there are pieces that are your favorites and that do more than some of the others, and that's one of them for sure. But yeah, pieces like that are great. The nice thing too, we package it in like super high-end quality packaging, because I think the presentation should be a big part of it. The experience that a customer receives, knowing that when they open this box, something's special inside. And we try to do a great job of that presentation piece for our clients.
As an employer who's constantly thinking through gifting for employees, it's great to know that there's a more high-end resource, something that's going to be memorable. You want somebody, if you're gifting for an employee, you want them to always kind of think about you or be grateful for you when they're utilizing that product. And I
Right.
think Cutco is one of those situations.
Right.
I had an employer gift us a big green egg, And he did it. They did it because they're like, well, like we could give everybody $1,000 or we could give them a big green egg. And every time they use that big green egg, they're going to think about us. And it's so true.
Exactly.
I think it's very similar from if you're utilizing shears for 20 years, you think every single time they're thinking about that, and hopefully building goodwill. Like I'm not saying to do that from like the wrong heart or the wrong place, but if you want to give something that will have a lasting impact and kind of leave a legacy piece with them, this is a great option for that.
Exactly. Something that's practical, that's useful. Because the thing that when you're giving a gift, the last things you want is something that's either used once, never used, or regifted. And the gift certificates, the gift baskets, the bottles of wine, the consumables, those are nice gestures, but they only last for a few hours, few days. And the kitchen's the heart of the home. And so our product is used every single day. And because it is a family gift, it really resonates with the entire family, being part of that experience. One quick story I'll share with you is one of the customers that I work with, they gave her a gift at the end of a project. And they did a project for an 85-year-old woman. And the sales rep was telling me the experience that they had is that the woman started crying when they gave the Cutco shears to her. And they're like, oh, did I offend you? I'm so sorry. Why are you crying? She's like, no, in 85 years, I've never had a good pair of shears.
Oh my gosh.
It only took 85 years. But it's just that, the product, that people know it and associate it with quality. It is, and it, like you mentioned, it is a heirloom piece that can be passed from generation to generation. So those things really mean a lot to me when I hear these stories and get testimonials from the end user. One of the things one of my customers has told me when he gives the gifts of Cutco, because they're not just buying for themselves, they're buying for others, employees, customers, vendors, suppliers, partners, anybody part of their inner circle. He said we're passing blessings on to others, and again, not that the product is going to completely change their whole life or their outcome, but it does make a little bit of difference. And most customers are now like, how do I live without these tools? Yeah.
Okay, so if somebody's listening and they want to know more, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so they can get a hold of me a couple different ways. If you're local in the Holmes County area, I have an office at Equus Rise Office Spaces that I also do sharpening events there as well. Someone can reach me via my email, cutcorob1@gmail.com. But yeah, I have a phone that they can call or text. That number is 440-463-3856. Outside of that, I'm always doing events at the Mount Hope Event Center for anyone local. But yeah, if you own the product, you need service, can definitely take care of you. If you're looking to get gifts or add on to your personal collection, I can do that as well.
Great. I would encourage everybody to check out Cutco Rob. How much do you like to be called? You have Cutco Rob on your shirts. That's how this is your branding. You have accepted it.
Yeah, I've what one of my customers call hijack the brand.
Okay.
So because early on in my career, my customers started calling me Cutco Rob, so I've just basically embraced it. Okay. That's my name. And on my car, it says Cutco Rob on the back windshield. It's on my business cards. It is Cutco Rob. Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, everybody reach out to Rob if you're looking for some options for yourself, for your clients, for whatever it is, and you definitely will get taken care of. So we really appreciate you being on Torch Talk with us today and helping us understand what you do a little bit more.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And it was a great time.
Thanks for tuning in to Torch Talk. If today's story sparks something for you, share it with a colleague, community leader, or future change maker. Until next time, stay inspired, stay intentional, and keep your fire burning.